praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kwadash, Tawada, Amen. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of GMS, Elder Gabar, Elder Rakah, Elder Rhinelab, and Elder Tahar. And double honors to all the camps out there on the highways and byways, preaching the word in the name of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kwadash, Tawada. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai. All praise and glory. Okay, today we're going to talk about America is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. Okay, I'm going to show you in scripture who the beast is. I think we're going to call this lesson the system of the beast, or who is the beast, basically. So we're going to show you who Daniel was talking about, who the beast was in Daniel, and in Revelations as well, who the beast was in Revelations 13, 16, 17, 20, who it's speaking of. Who is this beast? Yeah. So first we're going to start with a quick, simple comparison to the Roman Empire and the American Empire today. Yeah. So a little quick 3-minute video, as you can see, and just quickly keep your eyes pierced on this. Yeah. These are the comparisons that we're showing you. I believe that's is that the Treasury House, the Federal House. Keep watching, keep your eyes peeled. The coinage. That's Washington. Rome to your left, America to your right. That's the Senate. Rome to your left, that's the Senate in America. Those are. Keep your eyes on. As you can continue seeing, I think that's the Supreme Court or whatever, where Lincoln is. As everyone knows what that is. Here she is again. Call her the Statue of Death. They call her the Statue of Liberty. No liberty there, boy.
Ecclesiastes 3:15, that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past.
So, there's a quick synopsis of the comparisons, yeah? So, we're going to go into scripture now, alright? We're going to start with Daniel's chapter 7. Alright, we're going to do a quick read through Daniel's chapter 7. Alright, we don't need to break it all down because we're specifically focusing on the beast. Who is the beast that the Bible speaks of, yeah? Okay? So, we'll just start from the top anyway in Daniel, yeah? But we're going to quickly breeze through it and then we'll actually stop at exactly what it is that we're actually going to get the edification up on today, yeah? On who is the beast? The beast's system. Who is the beast and what is the beast's system? So in Daniel chapter 7 verse 1, it says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and the four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. All right? It says, the first was a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given unto it. So the first was a lion, which represented the Babylonian Empire. Okay? All right? For those who don't know that, that represents the Babylonian Empire. And I beheld another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Yeah? That, the second beast that he had in his vision, is the Medes and the Persian Empire. Yeah? That's what that is. That's the Medes and the Persian Empire. That would be Cyrus the Great, Darius the Great. That is their empire. That represents them. Yeah? The bear represents the Medes and Persian Empire. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it. The leopard represents who? The Greeks, Alexander the Great. Or we should say the Macedonians, really, because remember, Alexander was a Macedonian. His father, Philip the Macedonian, King Philip the Macedonian, was a Macedonian, yeah? So he wasn't really a Greek, he was a Macedonian, but he conquered all of Greece, yeah? So they call him Alexander the Greek, because Macedonia, it borders Greece, basically, yeah? And I think they're even under some dispute today, Greece and Macedonia, about Macedonia using that name for its country, calling it Macedonia, because the Greeks want to claim it as their own. Reason why? Because it all ties to Alexander the Great. So, the leopard represents Alexander the Great and his empire. The 4 wings of a fowl are his 4 generals. Yeah? So you had Lasameus, Seleucus, Ptolemy, and the other one begins with C. I forget his name. It will come back to me. It begins with C. The other general. There was 4 generals that they had there. Get the name. Lasameus, Ptolemy, Seleucus, Cassander. That's what it was. Cassandra came to me. Cassandra. Yeah, those were the 4. Those are what represent the four wings, basically. Yeah, those are the 4 wings that he speaks of. Yeah. So those are his 4 generals. Those are Alexander's 4 generals, because after Alexander died, remember his kingdom split between his 4 generals. Yeah, Seleucus, Ptolemy, Lasameus, and Cassandra split all of Alexander's empire between them after they killed off his siblings. Yeah, because they didn't want none of his heirs to rule, so they killed off his children, and then they took control of his empire. Okay. But the leopard represents Alexander the Great, and the 4 wings of a fowl represent his 4 generals. The beast had also 4 heads, which had 4 generals, and dominion was given to it. As I just said to you, after he died, the kingdom was split between the 4 generals. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. This represents the Roman Empire. The 4th beast that was terrible and exceedingly, and great iron teeth, and devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, is the Roman Empire. Yeah? And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Yeah? So, this also represents the reincarnation of the Roman Empire today. Yeah? Because the reincarnation of the Roman Empire is Esau's democracy, Esau's philosophy that he spread to the 4 corners of the world. Yeah? So, the 10 horns represent the European Union. Yeah? That's what that represents. The European Union, the 10 horns. that particular prophecy is to do with the Roman Empire. But it's speaking of the Roman Empire back then, when it was strongly in Sydney and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped and residued with the feet of it, which was the Greeks, which was in power at the time. It took total control at the time, the Roman Empire. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Yeah? We've said to you before that some of these prophecies are twofold and threefold. Yeah? This is talking about the Roman Empire back then and now, the reincarnation. Because the reincarnation of the Roman Empire today is this system that's based on this European and American democracy system. Yeah? Their philosophies, their democracies, their laws and their commandments and their statutes that they put across the four corners of the world. That's what that represents. That represents the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, and in a sense, their head is America. Yeah? So it is talking about America. The 10 horns represent Europe, the European Union, and the beast represents the United States of America. Yeah? Which is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. And like I said before, this is a twofold prophecy. It's talking about the Roman Empire back when it was the Roman Empire, back, through Italy, through the east, when it had the western part of the Roman Empire. Not so much the Byzantine Empire. It's talking about the western side of the Roman Empire that came to an end around 400 AD, when it totally came to its end, when it disappeared. And then you have the Byzantine Empire, which was considered the Eastern Roman Empire, but they were, like I said, it was all ruled by Jakes, and they were doing business. They were doing business differently to the western side of the empire, because you remember at that point there, the empire was split into two by Emperor Theodosius. He gave his two sons rulership. One son ruled the western part, the other son ruled the eastern part. But the eastern part was always known as the Byzantine Empire. Then to say it was called the Eastern Roman Empire, but it was the eastern part of the Roman Empire. But it was the western part that we're dealing with. Yeah? So, and it said, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. So the little horn that's come out of them, out of those 10 horns, is the United States of America. Because Europe, or more so the United Kingdom, gave birth to America. Who were the Europeans that went to the Americas and was played part in the massacre and genocide of the North American Indians and the indigenous people of the Americas, and who was involved in the slave trade? Who's that? That's the United Kingdom, France, Germany played a part in that, Holland, the Dutch. I said France, didn't I? The Dutch, Holland, Germany, United Kingdom. These were your major players. Belgium, yeah, that was involved in the slave trade. Yeah, but you also had the other little European countries that was involved in it, basically. But these were your major players. So it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days, which is the Most High, did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne, as we told you already, that the Most High is a black man, just like his son is a black man, for lack of a better word, is a dark-skinned man of colour with woolly hair. Yeah, just like every other Negro you see walking up and down the street today. Yeah, his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire. That's his chariot. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000. Yeah, so that would be 10 billion, 10,000 times 10,000. That's 10 billion, that works out. I may be wrong. It could be 10 trillion, but I think it's 10,000 times 10,000. So that's 10 billion. Yeah. Before him, the judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld them because of the voice of the great words with which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. Because, like, this is why I'm going to explain this to you properly so you can understand. That is when the Roman Empire came to its end, around 400 AD. And remember how we started this video. The United States of America is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire in its every essence, yeah? So, when it says, I beheld it even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time, all right? I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, which is Yahushai, and came to the Ancient of Days, which is the Most High, his Father. Once again, this one particular scripture here, verse here, makes it quite clear to you that Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is a separate entity, separate spirit, separate body to his Father, who we call the Most High, Yahweh. Some people call him by God. I'm just so you understand what I'm talking about. Are two separate entities. It's like it says in here, I saw in the night vision, this is Daniel's dream, behold, one like the Son of Man, which is Yahushai, came with the clouds in his chariot of heaven, and came to who his Father, Ancient of Days, that's his Father. And they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations and languages should serve him. Right. Has this happened yet, people? As Yahushua come back, are all the nations and peoples and languages and tongues serving him? His dominion is an everlasting dominion. It's going to be an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So, ask yourself this, has that happened yet? As we categorically know, that has not taken part yet. Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, has not returned. He has not come to claim his kingdom. He's not come to bring judgment and vengeance to the other nations and Esau. He's not come here to bring salvation. Has not happened yet. The children of Israel have not received salvation. The elect, the 1/3, 144,000 have not been gathered. This is a prophecy still to come. So this is another indication how we know that when we go back up a verse, it says, as concerning the rest of the beast, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. All right, so like we said, the Roman Empire had been taken away for roughly 1,000 years. It was gone for 1,000 years, because even though they called it the Eastern Roman Empire, they didn't actually call it that. They called it the Byzantine Empire, but it was known as the eastern part of the Roman Empire, but it was called the Byzantine. The western part of the Roman Empire was the real Roman Empire that we speak of, with the Caesars, with Julius Caesar, Augustus, Nero, Caligula, the Flavian dynasty. You've got the who's the other ones again, the emperors that you had? I can't even think of them, but there were several. Those were Western emperors, yeah? You got the Severus, you've got Mark Antony, you've got Marcus Aurelius. All these were emperors for the western side of the empire. This is when it says, concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Yeah? So that's when the Roman Empire came to its end, around 400 AD. Yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. It was prolonged for a season and a time through the Byzantine Empire. Came back. Sorry. Their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. Right? That season and time is when they came back, as in what we know as the Renaissance, the times of the Renaissance, yeah? When Europe came back into power. That was now the reincarnation, the beginning of the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, yeah? It says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven in his chariot, that's Yahushua, and came to the Ancient of Days, like we just said. And they brought him near before him. This hasn't happened yet, right? Sorry, that would have happened because the Son of Man is back with his Father, the Ancient of Days, up in heaven. So that has happened because that's where he is, yeah? He's back with his Father up, who's the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near to him. So he's up there now, waiting for the call, waiting for the trumpet, waiting for the green light for him to come and do the next verse. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all people, nations and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So This is still to come. Verse 14 is still to come as a prophecy. All right? Stay with me, people. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation to the things. So, one of the angels has come to give Daniel the interpretation of the dream that he just had concerning the 4 beasts. These great beasts, which are 4 kings, right? Which shall arise out of the earth. So the 4 kings, like I said, the first is the Babylonian Empire. You got Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, and all of these sons, so forth. The next is the Persians and the Medes, yeah, which would be Cyrus the Great. Was the first main leader of them, and then after that was Darius and so forth, and Xerxes and Artaxerxes, and all of those rulers of the Medes and Persian Empire. The third is what's his name? Alexander the Great, which was the leader of the Greek Empire, because they became a superpower and ruled for hundreds of years, yeah. And then the fourth is the Roman Empire, all right? But like we said, the Roman Empire, this is what happened to the Roman Empire. Verse, where was we? Hold on, pass it. Sorry, people. For a little time. 3 eyes. Okay. Sorry, here I was before. All right. So that's what we said before. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. All right. So we're going to jump back down again to where we was. Verse 14. And there was given him dominion and glory and kingdom, and that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. That's yet still to come. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, right, one of the angels, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High, which are the Israelites, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So that's not happened yet. Do you understand? This needs to happen for this to happen. Verse 14 needs to happen for verse 18 to happen. That's not happened yet. This is a prophecy. Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, right? So listen carefully. Which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, right? Because that's how the Romans were able to defeat all that were before them, because some were using brass swords, some had, what were they made out of again? Brass, I'm not sure if it was lead or copper, but it was iron was what you needed. The Romans were the ones that came with iron artillery, iron swords and spears and all the rest of it and that, right? It says, then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, right? Which is talking about his armory, and his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, because they conquered all that was before them, the Romans, yeah? And became the rulers of the known world back then, yeah? And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellow, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, all right? Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints, because that's not happened, of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. We're not possessing the kingdom. We're still here in our earthly bodies, yeah, in our mortal bodies, still preaching the word, still trying to bring the word out, still telling everybody about the prophecies, about the destruction, about Esau, about the salvation, about the judgments, were still out there doing this. So this has not happened yet. This is a prophecy. Yeah? So when it says until the Ancient of Days came, he's not come, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. Yeah? And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. That's not happened. Yeah? Thus he says, the fourth beast, listen carefully, shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which was the Roman Empire, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms and shall devour the whole earth, right? And shall tread it down and break it in pieces, all right? And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings, right? That shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, right? Because the 10 kings represent Europe, the European Union. Like I said, America is what? Is a baby of the European Union. Is a baby of the United Kingdom, all right? It's a baby of Europe. The Europeans gave birth to America, yeah? And when I say that, gave birth to the to the Europeans, to the Edomites, to come and control and take control of that continent, yeah? And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings, which represents Europe, that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, as you see every day with these Edomites, right? And shall wear out the saints of the Most High through slavery, through the genocide that they committed against the North American Indians and indigenous Indians of North, South America and Canada and all throughout the West Indies, and through the transatlantic slave trade, all right? Through the lynching, through the pillage, murder, rape, destruction that they did to the continent of America, to the indigenous people of the continent of the Americas, for Esau, for these Europeans to take control of the whole continent, right? And it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, which is, as you see, all that's happening, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of times, because we were given into his hand. The saints of the Most High were given into his hand. From, like I said, you go back to slavery, you go back to the genocide that they committed against the 10 lost tribes of Israel, which are the indigenous people of the continent of America and the West Indies and the Indies. So the indigenous Indians that live in America, all throughout South America, all throughout Canada, up all the way into Alaska, all throughout the islands of the West Indies, in the Indies there, these are the saints of the Most High. So when it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, that's Esau, the Edomites, and shall wear out the saints, right, of the Most High. Yeah, because, like I said, the Esau, the Edomites are the people that came and took control of the continent of America, yeah, which represents the beast. And think to change times, which they've done, and laws, which they've done. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of time. That's why they're able to do all these things. And people think, how could a couple of slave masters take control of 100 slaves and there's no rebellion, they accept it? Because we were given into their hands. We were given into their hands. People look at slavery and think, how did we allow these Edomites, these Caucasians, to enslave us like that? And we became the majority in the Americas at one point, and they were the minority, but they still was able to control and enslave us because we were given into their hands by the Most High. It was destiny. Deuteronomy 28 will break it down for you quite beautifully, that we were given into their hand. No matter what we did, we'd had to have gone through slavery. All right? So it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion. All right, so that's not happened. We're still living under the beast's system and under the beast's dominion. All right, because the beast today is the United States of America. It's the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. And this is why I say some of these scriptures are twofold, talking about prophecy back then and now. Yeah, prophecies that was going to happen then and that was going to reoccur again, come again, back in the later days. So it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion. We haven't done that yet. We're still living under Esau's, Edomites' democracy, what they call democracy, yeah? To consume and to destroy it unto the end. It's not being consumed and destroyed. We're still living under their what? Their times. They changed the times and the laws. We're still living under that. And it says here, and he may think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand for a time and take, we'll just stop there. And think to change times and laws. We're still living under their times and their laws. So this has not happened yet. This is a prophecy. This is how we know that the beast is referring to is the Roman Empire, and that America is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, and Europe is the same thing, the reincarnation of the Roman Empire in terms of its democracy, its laws, how it's all set up. Because you've got to remember, they're all in tune. Europe and America are all in tune. Europe gave birth to America. Allowed all of those Europeans to go over there and cause the havoc and destruction and the genocide and the murder and the pillage and the rape, and for them to take control of that continent. So, verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion, listen carefully, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints. That's not happened. We're still under their thumb. We're still under their rulership. It's Esau rules this whole planet Earth. They rule this earth, Esau. And every other country or nation or race, whatever they want to call them, are subjugated to what Esau decides. This is Esau, the Edomite's kingdom, your Caucasian's kingdom that we're living in there. Whether you're Chinese, Indian, African, if you're Israelite, whether you're, what do they call them people again? Asian, it doesn't matter. We're all under Esau. Esau rules this kingdom. So it says, and the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints, which are the Israelites of the Most High. That's not happened. Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. We're still under these, like I said, these Caucasian Edomites' kingdom. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. No one's serving and obeying us. Are you kidding us? That's not happened. This is a future prophecy to do with the beast. So you ask yourself again, who is the beast that this is talking about? Because you can see it's talking about the Roman Empire back then, but you can also see that these prophecies are that the prophecies are talking about now. So the beast must be here today for these prophecies to come true, to come to pass. Yeah? He's got to be here today. The beast has got to exist today for these prophecies to come to pass, because these prophecies are pertaining to who the beast is, right? It says, here too is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Right? It means in his mind, right? So, we're going to confirm what we just done in Daniel, yeah? We're going to jump to Revelations chapter 13, yeah? And we'll start at the top again, yeah? So it says, so what we'll do now, we're going to go back and forth. This is going to give you an even better understanding how we know that the America is the beast that the Bible speaks of. Yeah, we know that, and we would, and it's based on the reincarnation of the Roman Empire and the whole system. And remember, America is the one that's pushed out this democracy everywhere. That everyone's got to abide by their laws and their agreements and their statutes and all the rest of it. You've got to follow their rules basically when it comes to doing things on the world stage. They're the leading ones. They decide how you do things. Yeah. Everyone else could pretend to go on like they've got a say, but no one has a say. America decides what is blue and what is red. Yeah? If you say that's red and America says that's blue, then that is blue, because America decides for all of these countries that claim they have democracy. All right? So, Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, yeah, and 10 horns. And upon his horns are 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name was blasphemy. So those 10 horns represent the European Union. Yeah, he's got the 7 heads. So we're in Revelation chapter. There's a precept I wanted to pull out there. 1 second, people. One second. Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. 1 second. Right. Revelation 17, verse 10, I want. Ooh, let's quickly just find it in me. Let's get it from here. Revelation 17:10. Alright? So, we've got here, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Upon his horns, 10 crowns, yeah? And upon his head, the name was blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, yeah? Represents Europe. And his seat and great authority, all right? And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So when it's showing you here that his deadly wound was healed, this is now talking about, this is a metaphor. It's talking about the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. His deadly wound was healed around the 15th century, around 1401. It started to heal up when they started to come back into power little by little, these Europeans, yeah? So this is what this is speaking of. This leads up to the Renaissance, right? So around the 15th century, the Renaissance, it was the beginning of the Renaissance, the beginning of these Europeans coming back into power. When it says, and I saw one of the heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, right? So that healing is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, of these Europeans coming back into power. And all the world wondered after the beast, yeah? The beast, like I said, is America, but it is these Europeans. It represents the Europe coming, these Edomites, sorry, coming back into power, all right? So, what we're going to do, this is the precept I want to go to. So we've got Revelation 17 verse 10. And it says, and there are 7 kings, yeah? 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So those 7 kings represent 7 empires. So you've got the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, then you have the Spanish Empire, you've got the Germania Minor, Germania Major, you've got the French Empire, and then you've got the British Empire, right? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are your 7. So, and there are 7 kings, all right? So those 7 kings represent 7 empires. Greeks, Romans, Germania Minor, Germania Major. You can look them up yourselves. You've got the Spanish Empire, the French Empire, and the British Empire, all right? And when he cometh, all right, it says 5 are fallen, right? So 5 are fallen, all right? That will be your Greek, your Roman, Germania Minor, Germania Major, and the French. No, the Spanish fell first, I believe, before the French. All right, I may be mistaken. It may be the French fall before the Spanish, but I believe the Spanish Empire fell before the French Empire, right? It says 5 are fallen and 1 is, all right? So the 5 that are fallen, like I said, are the Greeks, the Romans, Germania Minor, Germania Major, and I believe the Spanish, yeah? And 1 is, all right? The 1 is will be the French, and the other is not yet come. The one that's not yet come is the British Empire, all right? And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, all right? Because the British Empire, they probably ruled the seas and everything probably for about 200 years, 250 years. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. That represents the United States of America. And the beast that was, which was the Roman Empire, that existed back in the times of when the Romans were actually walking the streets, from going right back from around 60 BC up until 400 AD, all right? So that is the Roman Empire. So when it says, and the beast that was, it's talking about the Roman Empire when it was back then. So we go back to Daniel again. And when Daniel says here, thus he says, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words and against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws and give them into his hand until a time and times are dividing of the time. All right? So that beast there, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. That's talking about the Roman Empire back then, but it's also talking about when it comes back again. Yeah? And shall devour the whole earth and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. Because it did that when it first came about, the Roman Empire. It devoured the known earth, the known world back then. Yeah, it conquered all of the different provinces and countries. Yeah. So when we go to 17, it says, and the beast, Revelation 17:11, and the beast that was and is not was that Roman Empire that Daniel spoke of in here. When Daniel spoke of here, if you go back up here, and Daniel says, when Daniel says, the first was like a light, he says, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. And when he says here, and he says, and after this I saw in a night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Daniel was talking about the Roman Empire. Yeah, it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that was before it, and it had 10 horns. Yeah, so it's talking about the Roman Empire, but it's also talking about the reincarnation of because America, it's all talking about America because America is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. Yeah, because when you jump down to verse 12, it says, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. So they had their dominion taken away, but their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. And that season and a time was what we call the Renaissance, the reincarnation of the Renaissance. So when you go back to Revelation 17, and it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition. Yeah? So the beast that was, is eighth, and he's of the seventh. The seventh empire, or the last one before the American Empire, was what? Was the British Empire. Like I said before, America was first scouted by, I think, the French and the Brits and the Dutch. But it was Britain that finally took control of what we was known as the 13 colonies. Yeah, King George III took control, ruled it. This is why they had the War of Independence. You had the red coats against the blue coats. The blue coats were the American pilgrims, and the red coats were all of those that were sworn in to crown king and crown, or crown, yeah, king and crown and country they call king, crown and country they call it, which was the king of England, which were the red coats. That's what the War of Independence was about in America, between the blue coats, which was the American pilgrims, the Union, against the red coats, which was the British. Yeah, and I think the French took the sides of the American pilgrims because the French always had this hatred for the British going back in Europe with the amount of wars that the French and the British had prior to all of that back in Europe. Yeah, so the French took the sides of the American pilgrims, which were all Europeans, just so you understand that. But the British, which were the redcoats, were the ones that didn't want to give up rule didn't want America to become an independent country, wanted it to stay under the rulership of the British Empire. Because at that time, the British Empire was the superpower. So when it says here, and the beast that was, which was the Roman Empire, it's showing you quite clearly, and is not, all right, because the Roman Empire didn't exist back in those times yet, yeah, because it had been done away with, like we showed you. Even he is the eighth. The eighth is the United States of America, and is of the seventh because Britain gave birth to the USA. It was the War of Independence that when America became independent and defeated the British, which were the redcoats, and took control of the whole continent of America in a sense, or North America at first, basically, and that became a country now. They called it the United States of America, and that's why they have that celebration on July the 4th called Independence Day. That represents that. The seventh beast, because everything that America was based on was all based on British laws, rules, and everything, because it was British colonies that had gone over there to set everything up. It was all the different English. The majority of the people that was in America, Europeans or Edomites that was in America, were from the United Kingdom, were from Britain. Had gone and set up all the colonies and what do you call them? The little like army posts and garrisons and so forth, all throughout the east coast of America, where the 13 colonies first came together. Well, you had 13 states that made up those 13 colonies. Yeah? So, the beast that was is the Roman Empire, and is not. Because the Roman Empire disappeared around 400 AD, like I said to you before. Even he is the eighth. Yeah? Even he is the eighth, because the eighth is the United States of America. And don't get confused with the Byzantine Empire. That was known as the Eastern Roman Empire. But that was not known as the beast, because their system and laws and how they run the eastern side of the Roman Empire, which was known as the Byzantine Empire, was completely different and opposite to how the western side was run. Just so you understand that. This is referring to the Western Roman Empire. It's not referring to people and say, oh, the Eastern Roman Empire was still around up until around 1300 AD. Yeah, we know that, but that was the Byzantine Empire. This is talking about the western side of the Roman Empire. That is the beast it's speaking of, you know. Your Caliguras, your Neros, your Augustus, Julius Caesar, the Flavian Empire, the Caligula. Talking about those emperors and those sides, Severius, Marcus Aurelius, all of those emperors it's talking about on the western side. So when it says, and the beast that was the Roman Empire, and is not. Even he is the eighth, because America is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. And is of the seventh, because it was Britain gave birth to America, because the seventh is the British Empire. And goeth into perdition, goeth into destruction, right? And the 10 horns, which is Europe, the rest of Europe, the European Union, because you know Britain doesn't really consider itself part of Europe in a sense, but this is talking about the European, what we know as the European Union today, yeah? And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, yeah? Which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast, yeah? So, when it says receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, that basically means is that these European leaders, are all gonna be, at some point, be highly respected by the United States of America. Yeah, and that would have happened probably, I would say, I was going to say after the Second World War, because that's when they kind of got together. And that would be more the time when that happened. After the Second World War, when they created I think it was called the League of Nations first, or something like that, or no, the EC, the European Community, it was called, before it became called the European Union. So that would have been that time, after the Second World War, when it says, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. That would be after the Second World War, yeah? Because that's when these 10 horns kind of became one, and they called themselves the European Community, or because it was called something else before it was called the European Union. I don't remember off my head what it was, yeah? I could look it up, but I don't need to. So, when you see the 10 horns, you go back to here, just so you understand this. Where are we? And these great beasts were four. Dreadful eyes. Okay. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, right? So this is what we're giving you now, the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron. That's its strength, its power, yeah? And his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Yeah, because they did. Europe were the ones that went, these Europeans were the ones that put us on those slave ships and took us to the Americas. United Kingdom, Britain, Germany, Holland, Dutch, Spain, and Portugal. These were, and Belgium. These were your main people that was involved in the transatlantic slave trade. So I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Right? And that's how they made war through slavery. Those same horns represent the European Union, those countries that make up the European Union. Yeah, just so you understand. Made war with the saints and prevailed against them. So we'll go back to Revelations. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest, right, are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And you can see that unfolding today. That these the European Union has one mind. That's why they all came together to become the European Union. And they're all giving their power and strength to the beast because they're terrified of America. When America says it's going to when Donald Trump says he's going to raise tariffs against them, Europe come back and say, oh, we're going to raise tariffs against you. America says, okay, let's see. So America raised tariffs against Europe. Does Europe raise tariffs back against America? No. They go in their corner quietly. They scream and shout as much as they want, but they've got in their corner quietly, the European Union, and not done nothing. All right? If America's told them, has put sanctions on Iran. All right? I'm just giving you examples. And told anyone that trades with Iran can't trade with America, and anyone trades with Iran, America's going to shut down their bank accounts and they can't do no transactions for any financial systems that America uses. I think one of the main financial systems that banks use is called SWIFT, where they transfer money back and forth when they're buying companies and selling and all of these sorts of sorcery. They used a system called SWIFT to make the payments and to receive payments. So America said, I've told these European countries that they can't use the SWIFT system, they can't use none of the financial payment systems, and he gave them a deadline. And let me tell you, Europe was at first, chest was high, puffed out to Donald Trump and America. I would say, well, we're going to create some legislation that we can bypass these sanctions that Trump has put against Iran because we want to continue buying oil from Iran and we want to continue trading with Iran and building and selling them airplanes and cars and building up places in Iran and buying materials and trading and so forth. So anyway, the deadline came in about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think the beginning of November. Did Europe push that legislation through to bypass that? No. Those companies jumped ship. It was like watching, what's that film with Marlon Brando? When they all, he was a captain of a ship, and all of his sea mates, all of his sailors, what do they call it again? All of these sailors went against him. There's a word for it. I forget what it bloody is. All of these sailors, in a sense, went AWOL and took over the ship and everything, and took control of the ship and said, right, that's it for you, mate. Same thing's happening to Europe. Donald Trump has taken control of this whole world trading system, and not a soul can say a thing. They can say what they want, but when it comes to doing, they do little. So it says, these have one mind, which is the European Union, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, which is the United States of America, which is what they've done. Right? And then it says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Well, we've been called, but we don't know if we've been chosen. Yeah? We believe we're faithful, but we've been called. We don't know if we've been chosen, because once we're chosen, we can only be faithful after that. Yeah? So that's when we know that we will become the elect. Right now, we consider ourselves the hopeful elect, so we're in the bracket of being called. Yeah? But we don't know. No one knows if they've been chosen for salvation. But what I'm saying to you, my point is, this has not happened. This is how we know this is a future prophecy. This is how we know that the beast that it speaks of here still exist. Yeah, when it says here, and the 10 horns, we know that it's talking about now, today, in the future. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which is the European Union, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as king 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, the European Union, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right, so let's go back to Revelation 13. Verse 3, and I saw one of these heads, and it was wounded to death, right? So that's when the Roman Empire came to its end, when it says it was wounded, just like what we showed you here. And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, right? That verse here, the precept for that verse there, and is of the 7 and goeth into petition, right, goes to here. When he says there, and I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death. That's the Roman Empire. And his deadly wound was healed. That was the reincarnation, the beginning of the Renaissance period. The Roman Empire coming back into its reincarnation. Because you've got to remember, the Roman Empire is a system. The beast is a system. And they call it democracy, capitalism. I'm trying to think of another word. Democracy, capitalism. Probably the 2 main words that define the beast's system. Yeah, and homosexuality. All right? It says, and the beast which I saw Sorry. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death. That's when the Roman Empire came to its end around 400 AD. I think just after the rulership of Emperor Theodosius. Yeah? I may not pronounce his name right, but I know his name begins with TH, Theodosius. That was the last emperor of the Roman Empire, of the western side of the Roman Empire before his east. He was the one that split it into two and made his sons emperors of one side. One of his sons was the emperor of the western side of the Roman Empire, and the other son became the emperor of the eastern side, which was known as the Byzantine Empire. All right? And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, which is the Roman Empire, and his deadly wound was healed. The reincarnation, which we know as, we call it the Renaissance period. That's when they came back into power during the Renaissance period, around 1500 AD. Yeah, which is the Renaissance period, which is the reincarnation, the rebirth of the Roman Empire. That's when his wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, because they were the ones, they were the light, innit? The Esau led the way. They created the airplane, the car, the engine, all the technology, the trains. I'm not saying they're responsible for all the technologies, but let me rephrase that. They took the credit for every type of new technology, or every new technology that we see, from the steam train to the electric train to the train lines, to gunpowder, to the light, to the, like I said before, to creating the airplane, to creating the car, the motorbike, all the things to do with the industrial age, because that was a fast, you got to remember, during a 150-year period during the industrial age, they went from riding bicycles to flying airplanes. Yeah, so Esau didn't necessarily invent these ideas, but they took credit for every one of them. Yeah, they would have done the majority of them, or maybe half of them. I can't say here to say, but they are responsible for taking credit for all of them. But they would have been the people that did actually create probably half of those ideas, but took credit for all of them. All the new technologies. And that's what it says there. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. All right? And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. Yeah? Because the dragon represents the European Union. Once again, the Edomites. He gave power to the beast. The beast is the system, but the system was pushed out, in a sense, from America. Yeah, so the beast represents the United States of America, all right? And they worship the beast because these people worship America. They all want to go to America, the dream. They all want the American dream. Everyone wants to go to. When you talk to people about, when I tell people, oh yeah, I was in New York the other day, they must think, oh, it was some great glamorous place. I said, no, the place stinks. It's finished. It's run down. The United States of America is done. It's finished, right? And I talk to them about it on a secular level, because I don't talk to them about it on a scripture level. They just wouldn't understand. I talk to them about it on a secular level to say, how they're printing money out of nowhere, how the US dollar is going to flat, how everyone's working on cheap wages, everything's gone up in America. They're all being poisoned with the GM, genetically modified food and so forth and that, But they still, people just seem to love America. They worship it. So just like it says there, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, which is the United States of America, saying, who is like unto America? They might as well just remove that word and put America there. Who is like unto the United States of America? That's how people look. They look at America like this golden city, this place where all your dreams come true, where everything is what they tell you. They say, oh, anything you can become anything in America. You can do anything in America. They say that to you. So exactly what Scripture is saying is what people are doing. It says, and they worship the beast, saying exactly what they're saying. They worship the United States of America, saying, who is like unto America? They might as well replace it, just put America there. But we know that's talking about the United States of America. Who is able to make war with him? Ask yourselves that. Who is able to make war with the United States of America? Right now, nobody. But the Lord is going to put the Spirit on the nations to go to war to America. See, right now the Spirit ain't on them to go towards America because they're frightened to hell with all of the technology and the arms and the army. Remember, they got the biggest military in the world. They got the largest and the most dangerous military in the world. They got the most nuclear bombs in the world, is America. Right? And the only other place that's got as much nuclear weapons as them is Russia. because they said that of all the nuclear weapons in the world, 90% of them, 95% of all nuclear warheads are split between two countries, the United States of America and Russia. So, just like it says there, who is able to make war with him? Nobody. Until the Most High sends his angel to put the spirit on them, just like how he sent his angel to put the spirit on Ahab to go to war against the king of Syria, which I think was Pecan or Ray, I forget the king's name, but it was the king of Syria. He put it in him, and he put the spirit on the prophets to come and tell. He put a lion spirit in a prophet to come and tell King Ahab that he will be successful in that war against the king of Assyria. So the king of Ahab was the king of the northern kingdom, Israel. He now gathered together the king of Judah, which was king. I think it was King Josaphat was the king of Judah at the time, and they both went to war against the king of Syria because the Lord sent a lion spirit to the prophets of the king of the northern kingdom, King Ahab, to tell him a lie to make him believe he was going to win that war. So the Lord sent a spirit down there to go and whisper into his ears, an angel down there to whisper into his ears, to put the spirit on him to go to war. So what did he do? He locked up the prophet that told him he was going to dead out there and put him in jail and told the prison keepers to feed him the bread of affliction and the water of something, he said, right? What a wicked king, right? And then he went to listen to the other prophets and said, yeah, there were these chillers. Yeah, you're going to win. You're going to crush the king of Syria. So he went out there and he went to war with King Jehoshaphat. And during that war, King Jehoshaphat was being chased by the king of Syria's captains because they thought he was the king of Israel because they had changed clothing, right? And when he screamed out and said, no, it's King Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. Then it's not him. It's not the king of, it's not King Ahab. It's not the king of the northern kingdom. So when they realized they were chasing the wrong man, that he was only dressed in his garments, they switched around, they turned, and they went back to the battle to seek out the king of the northern kingdom, King Ahab. And when they found him, they sent a blood clot arrow through him vest, boy, and kill him. So he died according to prophecy. So my point is that King Ahab died according to the prophecies that was in the scriptures about him, how he was going to die in his chariot and how the dogs were going to lick up the blood of his chariot and how his wife Jezebel was going to die and she was going to become a dunghill in Israel and the dogs were going to eat up the blood of her as well, which happened on the streets, which happened to her. She died and I'm not sure she fell out of a window or whatever, but she died on the streets in Israel and she became a dunghill in the streets, yeah? So that was a prophecy back then. So how does these, when it says here, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. Yeah? And they worshipped the beast. Yeah? The dragon represents Europe. Yeah? Which gave power unto the beast. The beast is America. Because like I said, the America came from out of Europe, but specifically out of Britain, the United Kingdom. Yeah? And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? And who is able to make war with him? Who is able to make war with the United States of America? Let's keep going, people. Right. So, and there were given unto him a mouth speaking great things. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. That's given unto the beast. Yeah, that power was given unto the beast, which is the United States of America. All right. So where are we in verse? Yeah. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Yeah? And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, which he did, like I said, through slavery, through the lynching, through the genocide against the North American Indians in North America, South America, and all throughout the continent of Africa. He was given unto him to make war with the saints, and he did. And to overcome them, and he did. He overcome the tribe of Gad, Reuben, right? He overcome all the 10 lost tribes of Israel, which are the indigenous Indians on the continent of America, from North America to South America, all throughout Canada and the West Indies. He was given to make war with them, with the saints, and he did overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, and he did, and tongues and nations. As you can see, he is the head of NATO. America is the head of NATO. America controls literally the UN. The UN is an American body, even though there's got 5 permanent members that they can vote against one another. Those 5 members, which is China, Russia, England, America, and I think Germany is the other one, I believe. Right, are the 5 permanent members, or France it is, sorry. Right, and they can UN, but America is the head of the NATO. So when it says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Absolutely. He took control over the whole continent of America. He's in control of NATO. He runs things. America runs things, people. All right? And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Because that's his plan. This is what globalization is about. They want one global army, one global government, one global religion, one global school and education. They don't want no dissent. They don't want no different thought, different idea, nothing. It's all based on globalization, which is all going to be based on satanic rulership, satanic practices. All of that is going to be blasphemy. It's all going to be, because it's all going to be based on homosexuality, transgenders, cisgender, lesbians. Everything's going to be accepted in their kingdom. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Because that's where they're leading to. Like I said before, they all worship this place called America. Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So all those that worship America, like I said, these are people whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Because those people, like the Lord has written them off already. All those that are upholding America and its beliefs and what it's pushing out to the 4 corners of the world, from homosexuality to transgender to same-sex marriage to their different religions that they push out there, to their what they call their capitalism, their democracy. Everything that they do is based on satanic sorcery. It's based on the left side, basically. It says, if any man have a ear, let him hear. All right, so listen carefully. He that lead him into captivity, so did I not lead us into slavery, on slave ships into captivity, brought us to the Americas, led us into more captivity, whipped us, killed us, raped us, murdered us, tortured us, maimed us. We were their goods, they owned us. They led us into captivity, shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. So this is what we know, right? So I don't need to go any further into this one down here, but I'm going to give you one more, Revelations 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, which is the United States of America, and it's all way, and its image, which are, like I just said to you, its philosophies, but dude, homosexuality, lesbian, transgender, same-sex, its democracy, what he calls democracy, its system of capitalism, its system of all these different religions. You know, you've got people, you can become Muslim, some can become Hindu, Sikh, Scientology, you can become Buddha, you can become anything you want. You can become a transgender, you can become a triple gender, you can become a bisexual, homosexual, doesn't matter what you want, you can benefit in America. That's just, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So we're going to go back to that video one more time, yeah, so people can actually see what it is, what was it we was talking about. Right here. America is Roman Empire reincarnated, and we show you quite clearly in scripture that it is. Carefully, people. Look at that. Are you seeing anything any different? This is what we're looking at. Coming to you very soon, people. There's no difference. You can see the comparisons between the two, the ancient Roman Empire and the modern Roman Empire. The modern Roman Empire is the United States of America. The ancient Roman Empire, as you can see, was there back in Rome in Italy.
3:15, that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and the Most High required that which is past.
So, I'll give you two last scriptures before we go. Alright? I want to give you Revelations 12 and 12. Two more scriptures before we go. Don't mean to long this one out, people, but when the Spirit is with you, the Spirit is with you. It says, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea." Woe means destruction, just so you just in case you don't know what that means. "For the devil," which means the deceiver, "is come down up unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child." The woman that brought forth the man-child, that represents Israel, the Israelites. Yeah? That's what that's speaking of. Yeah? The dragon represents Esau, the Edomites, your Europeans. Alright? So, he says he has such a short time, right? It says, "Woe to the inhabitants on the earth," right? Remember that. Right? Sorry, come on. It says, "Therefore rejoice, heavens, and ye that dwell on the earth. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has a short time." So we're going to show you what woes that is talking about, all right? We're going to go to Revelation, I think it's 11 and 14. So Revelation chapter 11 and 14. It says, "The second woe is past," which represents the Second World War. "And behold, the third woe cometh quickly." All right? Because the Third World War is it's on us. It's on our doorstep. It's going to happen, people. Right? Verse 15. "And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, and of his Yahushua Mashiach, and he shall reign forever and ever." And that's not can't happen until the third woe comes quickly, which is World War III. So just so you understand, the beast represents the United States of America and its system, democracy and capitalism. The dragon represents Esau, the Edomites, which are all throughout Europe, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom. Represents your Edomites, the dragon, yeah? Represents Esau, and Esau was based in Europe before it went to the rest of the four corners of the world, yeah? To do its conquering and its wickedness that it did over the last 500 years. Its base was Europe before it did all that. And then it went to the Americas, it went to Canada, then it went to Australia, they went to New Zealand, they went to Africa, they went to Asia, India, Pakistan, they even went to China and Japan. They went everywhere from Europe. That is the dragon. The dragon represents Esau, the Edomites, which is Europe. The beast is the system and the United States of America, which is democracy and capitalism. Yeah, the beast represents America and its system. Yeah, so on that note, people, I think we can cool it down that note. If they haven't got it by now, then what can I say? All praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekah, Kodash, Tawada, Amen. Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai.